Good morning, Kansas City. Welcome to Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM. I'm Kevin Kietzman on a cloudy Friday, heading toward a frigid weekend where apparently everybody in the world thinks the Los Angeles Chargers have no chance of playing here because it's going to be cold on Sunday. But I heard that last week about the Houston Texans. Didn't seem to work out. We'll get into a little football at the end of the show today with Mark, our dead locks of the week coming up, and somebody you know well had a very exciting thing happen for their family in football. That's all I can tell you. Somebody you know well from this show. We'll get to that a little bit later in the broadcast. Are you renting your house out for the World Cup? Axios has done a study on what's going on in Kansas City with people renting their houses. I brought it up with my wife today before a bigger, more pressing concern came up. You won't believe some of the numbers of rentals that have already been booked in Kansas City, in the Kansas City area for the World Cup next summer. And in just a little bit, in the next segment, I'm going to share with you, if you were listening yesterday, we got a $5,000 donation for Children's Miracle Network. And I was challenging businesses to call in and offering a free month of advertising on my podcast for any business that gave the largest donation. And we got some bids, which was nice. When the entire cluster here ran the thing up to $107,000 yesterday, which was amazing. That's just terrific. That's a record for Cumulus Media and Children's Miracle Network. So we're very happy about that. But I've got a story to share with you about the person who made this big donation of $5,000, and I'll just leave it at that. We'll talk about that coming up in a couple of moments. I want to start today with my absolute favorite person in the Trump administration. Everybody's got their favorite, right? Some people, it's Tom Homan. He's out there rounding these people up. Some, it's my wife is RFK. She's in this health thing, Make America Healthy Again. She loves that. Everybody's got somebody different that they love. Pete Hegseth is just crushing it at the Department of War. Mine is Stephen Miller, and it's been Stephen Miller for a long time. Stephen Miller got my attention in 2006 when he was a senior at Duke, and he wrote for the student newspaper. And they had a scandal there, the Duke lacrosse scandal, that you may or may not remember. It was some girls on campus that claimed 3 male lacrosse players raped her, or there might have been 2 victims, but one for sure came forward and was like, they raped me at a party. They were hammered. There was drugs. They raped me. It was a national story. And fast forward 19 years, we don't do this anymore, thank God. But in 2006, those 3 were convicted that day. Like the media, the story, bro, it was over. It was, if a woman claims it, it's gold. It happened. There's nothing to discuss. These guys are going to jail for a long time. And Stephen Miller was the opinion writer for the student newspaper, and he wrote his very first piece. It was a pretty simple piece. And he wrote, well, wait a second. What about presumed innocence? What if they didn't do it? Next thing you know, as a student at Duke, he's a guest on CNN. They're like, what do you mean they're innocent? And they're just pounding him down. And he goes through 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, 4 step. And he goes, now I've learned this and this and this. And if nothing else, he never said they didn't do it. He's like, wait a second. There's a whole lot of things that happened that night and a lot of other witnesses and people that were around that they weren't drunk, that this didn't happen, the whole deal. Well, it was the first ginormous American rape hoax. There have been dozens publicly. And people have lost a lot over this. Trevor Bauer still hasn't pitched in the big leagues. He was basically blackmailed by girlfriends who allowed him to do, he had a different sexual lifestyle. It was more rough than probably what most people do. And these women would do this, and then occasionally they'd have a bruise on their arm or around their neck or something like that. Then they'd go to the police and try to extort money out of him, which they did. And he started fighting back, and the lawsuits all proved he's completely innocent. Everything was consensual. He never did anything with anybody that they didn't want or whatever. Some of these women actually stole things from him at his house. They would steal watches and rings and things like that. It was one giant grift. So this is part of our society. I'm not saying it's the majority of incidents where a woman claims she's hurt. We must listen to all women. That's not my point. But Stephen Miller was the one guy who stood up as a college student and said, wait a second. This is the United States of America. These 3 boys aren't guilty yet. This is ridiculous. And he'd go on CNN, and the hosts wouldn't know what to do with him. Just like they don't know what to do with him today. Only today, he's really under their skin. It's not some little case at Duke that CNN didn't care about other than it was salacious. Now it's, well, he comes on now and he destroys every narrative we have. You cannot out-debate Stephen Miller. It cannot be done. Some on the left call him Trump's brain. That's an insult to Trump more than anything else, but that's what they call him, Trump's brain. And Trump listens to Stephen Miller. And Stephen Miller is right. He's almost always right. So here's what happens. He gets on the Hannity show. And Hannity says, man, we love to have Stephen Miller on. This is a ratings gold. All we got to do is promote he's coming on. It's always the highest rated segment. We put it on social media. It gets the most views, the most clips. I'm not the only person that has a man crush on Stephen Miller, the senior advisor to the president. So they're talking about this, and then Hannity says, I understand you've been banned from CNN. And Miller said, yeah, I'd concur with that. I don't know if there's an official actual ban, but he has not been on in over 2 months since he went on and just undressed one of their commentators and destroyed them in a clip that went so viral it did damage to CNN. Because it is not hard to stump those people and leave them speechless, and Stephen Miller did this. So Miller went on to say, quote, over the last few days, our brilliant White House communications shop reached out to CNN, which, of course, is running one fake news hit piece after another. They said, Stephen Miller would like to come on your network to rebut any of the lies you're saying about him. And they asked, well, what show? The White House responded, Stephen Miller will do any show, anytime, with any host. They said, what? Well, what's the topic? The White House said to Miller's producers at CNN that were trying to keep from booking him, Stephen's available to discuss any topic with any host anytime. As far as you're concerned, Stephen Miller has zero scheduling conflicts with CNN at all. He will make himself available from the first hour of the air to the last hour of the day on any subject of your choosing. We will not take him, period, for any show or any topic, Miller alleges. They won't have me on. We've told him anything, anytime, anywhere, they won't have me on. Following the exchange, the network CNN makes a statement and says, quote, members of the administration, including Stephen Miller, are welcome to come on our air. As a news organization, we make editorial decisions about the stories we cover and when. And that depends on news priorities of the day. We look forward to having Stephen on again in the future as news warrants. So CNN's debate against Stephen Miller saying he's banned is for over 2 months. There has not been one news story, one day in any news cycle where anything ever came up that it was relevant to have Stephen Miller on. When he has plainly said any topic, they should take him up on this. They should, and I dare them, say, oh, we're going to have you on to talk about immigration, then don't ask an immigration question. Or ask the first one and go on to something you think he's not prepared for. Try to stump the man. I dare you, CNN. You can't do it. He can talk for any cabinet member or any branch of the government and has the answer. Now, he'd be a terrible politician. He doesn't always come off as likable. He doesn't look like a politician. You want to talk about somebody who'd be an incredible president? Holy smokes. Can you imagine if Stephen Miller ever got behind the Resolute desk? What kind of fun would it'd just be one 24-hour-a-day party for conservatives in America. This guy has it, and if they want to call him Trump's brain, that's fine. He has essentially been banned from CNN, but you need to know this about those people in the media. This is how it works. It's always this way. It's the same thing. Like I could call Mayor Lucas's office and say he can come on and talk about whatever he wants. He could turn it into an infomercial. Would he like to come on? And it probably wouldn't happen under any circumstance, any time. But he doesn't. I think with mine, I don't know, somehow maybe it's a little more personal or something. I don't know. I've mentioned many times my daughter thinks we'd actually be friends. I think we probably would be. And that's fine. But there have been all kinds of people in my career that would never, ever go on with me. And I had people who had a final appearance on with me and would never come back on. That's different. This is the opposite. I get asked to do shows around the country. So does Pete. It's one of the things that local radio stations do. We have people that we know. They say, hey, can you come on to talk about the Chiefs and some other stuff? And I've asked people to do that. They go, well, yeah, but what other stuff? I'm like, I don't know. We'll figure it out that day. I've never once ever asked anybody what they're going to ask me in an interview. If I don't know something, I'm just very comfortable saying, I don't know. No, that's not my, don't ask me about the law. I don't know what that law says. I'm not a constitutional scholar. Sorry, I don't know. I'll give you an opinion on something, but I can't tell you something is fact. And, you know, I come on with Pete every week. We never talk about what we're going to talk about. It got a little fun today and silly, which is great. It should be. It's the end of his week. We should lighten things up for Pete in his last hour. But it's incredible that CNN has a news organization, and they've said we can't have Stephen Miller on because when he comes on, it does harm to our network. He makes their hosts look bad. It goes viral. Millions of people see it, and that is why I have a man crush on this guy. He is absolutely my first favorite person in the entire administration. Maybe you're the same way. Maybe you're not. A lot of people look at him and go, he's not for me. Oh, he's for me. 913-408-7957. Never prouder of anyone in any administration than Stephen Miller for being too good in an interview to be on CNN. Uncanceled continues next.
Hey, it's Vince Gallane's Catch My News Show at 11 o'clock after Kevin Kietzman on 95.7 FM KCMO Talk Radio.
Welcome back to Uncanceled. Great to have you with us on this Friday. Still ahead, our dead stone cold lock of the week. We're 3 games over 500. I've actually had a couple wins here recently to pitch in or at least keep us where we are. Mark's been on a bit of a heater, which is a good thing in that parlance. And we're also going to talk about the big donor we had yesterday on the show. I got a chance to speak with him on the phone yesterday. I'm not going to divulge all. You're going to want to hear this. It's pretty cool. But we take your phone calls right now on the topic of the day right so far is Stephen Miller banned from CNN, 913-408-7957. If you'd like to comment, here is Stephen in KCK. Stephen, good morning. How far do you live from 87th and Antioch?
Pretty far.
Really?
Is there something? Is there an event or something?
Well, I'm just wondering how long it would take you to drive there.
Oh, okay. I admire Stephen Miller.
Well, no, wait, you haven't answered my question. How long would it take you to drive to 87th and Antioch?
Oh, okay. How long would it take to drive?
Yeah.
I would say 20, 25 minutes.
And you couldn't come to our event the other night at Beck's place.
Oh, I know. I heard that thing I heard you promoting that thing, and I knew someone was going to tell me to show up at one of those things. I'm gonna.
My friend Tony showed up, and he said, of all people to not be here, he said he's been listening to your phone calls for 20, 25 years, all the way back to my sports show. He said of all the people to take airtime and he thinks you're the greatest caller ever and blab away, he's not here entertaining us tonight. He wanted you to come put on a show.
Oh, and you tell Tony, I was listening to that ad and I thought about coming. I heard that ad and I go, man, that's something I should do. So I'm going to do it. One of these events. I'll if I have to, I'll take the bus. I'll take the toy train. I'll take the toy train if I have to.
What's worse, the toy train or the bus? Oh my, that's great.
Well, I love Stephen Miller just because I think I wanted to go on one of those nighttime CNN table shows. Just so he can blow him away. I think he's the idea man. I think him and JD. We were talking the other day about what they were going to do before they started seizing oil tankers in the Caribbean. And telling Colombia that they're going to do it to them too. These terrorist oil tankers that are labeled under French Guiana, and they just took them, and we took the oil. So I mean, I think he's a great brainstormer. I mean, that just completely took the momentum out of all their plans. They were going to have all this debate about healthcare and health insurance. About we're going to put the Republicans on trial for taking away everybody's health care, and then we just start confiscating oil tankers, and all that left the news.
He's the best. He said I played a clip on my podcast a couple of days ago. He said in a recent interview, he said, we went 50 years from 1920 essentially to 1970 with negative net immigration. Okay? Yeah. Everybody poured in here, and then we had to stop it. It was like we got too many people coming in too fast, and we stopped it. We had laws on the books, and we stopped it. It was negative net migration. In that 50 years, he said the creation of the traditional American nuclear family began, and our population doubled. With no immigration, people got married, went to church, had lots of children, developed an American culture all unto itself, spoke English, were largely Christian, and all those things. And he said, we can easily look back at the history of our country and say those were our greatest days. Why don't we replicate that? And it's not some sort of white nationalism thing, because we're not really a white country anymore. We're white majority, but we're not we've got so many different people living here. But if you're an American citizen and we close off immigration and our citizens start having children, they will grow up as Americans. They're not growing up in Somalia and coming over here and trying to create little Somalia in Minneapolis. That was his larger point. I had no idea that we shut off immigration for almost 50 years, and during that time, our population doubled. Did you know that? This guy knows everything.
No. And that's a great point. That you want assimilation. You want.
That's right.
That's what you want. You don't want people in their own enclaves running it like a gang.
No.
What we've got.
You want American citizens to marry and have American citizen children, and you want to take the select few from around the world that can really bring something to your country.
Yeah.
Like I always use Salvador Perez as the example. I mean, we're maybe going to war with Venezuela. That's where he's from. Well, no kidding. He's a good baseball player. So he got out of there, got here, became a citizen, speaks English, and is a great American who's contributed a lot to this country. That's the kind of person you want.
What's so brilliant is that we're putting Venezuela on its knees without even going to war.
Right.
We're just going to sit there. We're just going to sit there and legally confiscate all of their monetary way to survive. I mean, it's fantastic.
So I think a lot of people don't understand how this oil thing worked. I read a story on this the other day, Stephen. These ships, these tankers, are basically run by companies that they sail under a false flag. They say they're from a different country. They're taking money from Russia, Iran, China, Venezuela. They're running this oil. They know what they're doing is illegal. We've now taken one ship. If Trump takes one more, it is estimated that 60% of the oil coming and going from Venezuela will end because these companies will not want to do the work. They'll see it as too risky and too dangerous. Not only are they going to lose their product, they're going to lose their ship. They're not giving that ship back. Who are you going to give it back to?
Oh, Kevin, take them all. Take Colombia. If you're running an illegal ship under a false flag and it's legal, let's. I mean,
Absolutely.
I don't care who it is, man.
It's going to cripple Venezuela economically, is what it's going to do. That's what those things are about.
Absolutely, and that was the point of this whole. That's why I think you've got J.D. Vance or Stephen Miller running strategy, because this is a masterful strategy, and the news media can't help but to cover it.
God, I need to make you our. I need to make you our Stephen Miller. Every time you call, Stephen, I want you to have something that you've researched and come up with a fact that we don't know.
Okay.
Can you do that?
Okay.
Thank you, buddy.
All right. Thank you.
Have a great weekend. Stephen and KCK. How's he such a... I mean, he listens like every minute of every day, right? And calls a lot. And, and we love him. How did he not come to Beck's place the other night?
I thought he'd be there.
I mean, Stephen, it's disappointing. We had a great turnout. That was a wonderful event. So many of you came. Our friend Johnny Walker came by. You guys know Johnny Walker, right? He makes desserts for us all. He brought one for me and one for Pete. And I took it home, and I wasn't sure Miss Jessica was going to eat it, and she ate it. And, well, we still have some of it. She loved it so much, it's going to get eaten at her house. Or I was going to bring it in here and let you guys chow down on it. He's really something else, man. That dude drives 65 miles to come to Remotes. It'd be farther if he came to the radio station. He's been here, right? Yep. Really, really, really great listeners and a wonderful event. Today's the day at Beck's Place. If you go to sweetdeals.com, you can buy $50 gift cards for $25. Today only. Sweetdeals.com. They're nice folks. It's just a husband and wife that own the place. A great little neighborhood joint at 87th and Antioch. Go to sweetdeals.com and help out our friends at Beck's Place. KCMO Talk Radio is live right now with Uncanceled. We're back with more right after the news.
From Smithville to Shawnee Mission, it's Kevin Kietzman. Uncanceled on 95.7 FM KCMO Talk Radio.
So thank you to everyone who participated yesterday in the Children's Miracle Network Radiothon and the donations you made. We toppled $107,000 yesterday at Cumulus Media in Kansas City. Well done. The people that put this on every year and do all this unbelievable work are the real heroes, but well done, Kansas City. We had a challenge on the show yesterday. My business made a donation, and then I challenged other businesses to call in and make a donation. I said the business that donates the most, I'll give a free month of advertising to on my podcast. And so I hope that would work. And we got a caller who's, I think, made big donations before. I don't think he specifically did this for me. And I learned this because I asked the folks at Children's Miracle Network that were here, I said, do you have the information on the person? We don't see anything but a first name here on our scrolls, the stuff they give us. It's all very private. I said, is there any way we can reach out to him? I think this is the guy who came up with the high bid and wants this advertising. And they said, well, we can contact him for you, or this is his number. What do you think? I'm like, well, don't contact him for me. Let me call him. He listens to the show. There's nothing else. I'm the host calling him. Let me call him. So I get his number, and I won't get into his name or anything because I'll tell you about the conversation that I had with him, and we'll just leave it anonymous because that's the way he wants it. He was almost taken aback that I called, not in a way like, oh, Radio Boy's calling. It wasn't like that. It was like, yeah, I really don't want to talk about this. And it was one of the coolest experiences I've ever had with somebody who made a large donation to a charity. And I said, sir, what's the name of your company? He told me the name of his company, and he's got I said, well, I'd love to do the advertising for you and see if I could bring you some new business. And he said, yeah, I'm not really interested in that. And I said, well, at some point next year, if you have a charity that your business is involved with or an event that you'd like to promote in the city where you live, whatever, and anything in your life, I'd like to promote that for you or do whatever I can. He said, yeah, okay, I'll let you know. And largely, although he didn't say it, my takeaway from him was very simple. He's the best among us. He donated $5,000, and he really doesn't want anybody to know. He just wants it between himself, maybe his family, probably his creator, and the charity, because you have to give the information and the credit card or however you pay, but he doesn't want people to know. I wonder how many people like that are in our society. I have always hoped and prayed that it's the majority of people would just like to do things and nobody knows it never comes up. Even if you called yesterday and gave $20 that you didn't tell your wife, you didn't tell your friends, you didn't do anything, you just did it because you know it's the right thing to do and it makes you feel good, and that's good enough. Doing something good for others and feeling good while doing it is plenty for any and all of us. And I fall in the trap where I don't, but I'm kind of a marketer, promoter. We get involved, we get competitive, we make jokes about beating the other stations and doing this and that. So maybe what we do is a little different. That's no excuse, but I've watched so many athletes in my life have news conferences. It's better today than it was. This all really started in maybe the early 90s. Remember Arrowhead was so boogered up. It was every player had a cause and a banner, a sign hanging around the stadium, and it just looked so trashy in there. Do you guys all remember those? Some of them were really poorly made. It was this player's that, this player's that. The team was pushing that on all their players. Get involved in the community, have a cause, give us a charity, we'll make banners for you, we'll put it up, we'll push it. And the problem was it's just not for everyone. Like a lot of players may just want to go to church with their family on Sunday and tithe, and that's enough. That they don't really feel comfortable in social environments doing news conferences or making public appearances with kids that are dying or whatever it may be. It's not for everyone. Some people want to do it privately. And in sports, they just keep pushing and pushing and pushing things publicly. Well, they got better at it because they had so many bad moments where an athlete would be at a news conference asked about his charity and couldn't answer a question. I'm not talking about people like Trent Green, who's dedicated the last 25 years of his life to the Ronald McDonald House here in Kansas City. I guarantee you right now, Trent Green, the Chiefs' former quarterback, could be like the chairman of the board or the CEO of Ronald McDonald House. He knows every single facet of what they do. He and his wife, Julie, are completely and utterly immersed and involved with that charity. And that's awesome. And he's not very public about it does a golf tournament every year. Every now and then there's a statement that will come out about something that they're doing or they're expanding or, whatever may be the case. But he knows everything about it. That's awesome. When an athlete does that, that's incredible. But some athletes, they're not cut out for that. And they are charitable people. They just don't want to be public about it. And that's what happened yesterday. And this guy's awesome. And I think, I look at my own mom. She is unable to go to Mass every Sunday, but she still gives to her church. She doesn't tell anybody. Nobody knows this. It's her way of life. She has other charities that she donates clothes to and does things, and she's just been a very kind, respectful, and helpful to others person her entire life. I'd like to think I'm going to tell you, me and my siblings, we're not as good of people as our parents. We're not. But we did learn that from them. We learned a lot of the right things. We don't do it as, no pun intended, religiously as my mom with the same commitment. But it's learned, it's taught behavior, and it's wonderful. And I'm going to guess that this gentleman's got a great family, and they're all the same way. And I think if he's donating $5,000, he's probably in a position where he can donate $5,000. And, we don't judge on whether it hurts you or how much it was or whether you've got this or that. We don't care. Somebody could have called up yesterday and given $5, and it's all great. But I just love the fact that I called someone yesterday, and he really just didn't want to talk to me. It was not rude. I don't want to mischaracterize any of this. It was like, yeah, this isn't my thing. No thanks. I just wanted to give the donation, not interested in the advertising. I just wanted everybody to know that there are great people out there that all they want to do is donate, be anonymous, and do good things for other people. And that fills my heart, man. I don't mean to, overplay it, but I'm going to guess a lot of people that listen to KCMO Talk Radio that made donations yesterday don't want anybody to know. Didn't tell anybody. They just did it and don't care that anybody knows. And I think that's awesome. That's really cool. All right, starting on the topic of money, we'll go the other way. Let's do a 180 here on money. This isn't donating. This is collecting. Axios has done a piece on Airbnbs in Kansas City. This is where you rent your home out for vacationers. And apparently, the word on the street around Kansas City, I don't know, do you know all four? The Netherlands is the one that's buying up the houses right now. What are the other countries that are coming? At some point, Argentina for sure, or maybe Argentina. Argentina for sure, I think. Is that right, Mark? We got Argentina coming.
Yeah. They're playing their first game here.
All right. And the Netherlands is coming, right?
Yep.
That's in June. Mm-hmm. Folks in the Netherlands are gobbling up houses. I don't think they think much of hotels, folks. Listen to this. Grandview in 2025, in the month of June, had one Airbnb booking. One house, one time in Grandview. That's not unusual. It's not a tourist town. It's not the Lake of the Ozarks. Well, Grandview's pretty close proximity to the stadium. A lot of homes are there. And that week of the Netherlands match, 180 houses are already rented. This was announced Saturday. So the story's a day old. So in 5 days, 180 houses were rented in Grandview for the Netherlands match of the World Cup. Blue Springs Airbnb rentals that month next year up 3,640%. And get this, a home in the Northland has been rented out to a family from the Netherlands for $20,000 a night. A night. Now, I'm going to guess this is at like the National, maybe in Parkville. Some really sweet golf course home. Maybe it's some dude in the Netherlands like, I don't get to play that much golf, but boy, it's going to be nice and warm in Kansas City. This course looks great. Tom Watson designed it, which is a big deal. Everybody knows Tom Watson. Let's rent this thing. Let's play some golf. Let's go to the World Cup. It's close to the airport. It's perfect, right?
Maybe it's a dignitary. Maybe they're going to have their home base here.
Could be. And there are houses big enough there that could sleep like 20, pretty easily. So maybe it's one of those things where they're all paying $1,000 a night for their $20,000 a night. There's no way to know, but this is happening. So I say to Jessica this morning, I said, Jessica, you know what would be really easy to do next year? We could disappear for a couple weeks. We can leave town. What do you think? So we're in West Lenexa. We're not that far from basically 87th Street and 435. So you can zip down to the practice facilities where Sporting's practice area and stuff is, in like 15 minutes or less. It's also a straight shot around 435 from the airport that's not too far. We like our location. We like where we live. We've got a 4-year-old home that we built 4 years ago. I'm like, Jessica, why wouldn't we just put the dumbest price you ever saw on a house? We can build up the site and say close to the training facility, golf course area. Golf course is nearby.
Not far from Arrowhead, really, even.
Not far from the freeway that gets you to Arrowhead. We're close to 435 and you're around. I don't know what kind of price I'd put on it that she'd say yes. She hates the idea of renting anything. But what if I put a stupid price on there? Would somebody from the Netherlands maybe do it?
Oh, yeah.
Is that what's happening?
Yeah, in that time frame, you could Airbnb your house or whatever you want to do for a large amount of money, for sure.
We could go on a 2-week cruise 6 months early.
Go visit the grandbaby for
Just
a couple
disappear.
weeks.
That's a great idea. It is 115 in Phoenix the end of June.
Oh, that's hot, yeah. That's the only time of year I've never visited my parents.
That's right.
I've gone in the spring, fall, and winter.
Actually, probably where we'd go because I wouldn't want to take vacation. We could work from there. We can do the radio show and the podcast from there. But it's crazy. A house in the Northland, $20,000 a night. I mean, think about if you could rent your house over. There's 4 weeks of this, right?
Yeah.
28 days.
Mm-hmm.
What if you could get $1,000 a night for your house? You rented it 20 nights and made $20,000 for a lot of. I mean, are you kidding me?
It's pretty good.
Holy smokes! So it's real. I didn't believe it was all going to happen, but apparently a lot of folks do not like hotels, and they're willing to pay at somebody's house. There's this story. I don't know where to file this story exactly. This is crazy. It's been 6 years since the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris burned. It seems like it was about a year and a half ago. It was before COVID. Amazing. The cathedral burned. They've rebuilt it, and they're now in the stage of redoing the artwork. So they've done most of the construction and all the things that were necessary, and they're in the project, which is a very important project there, of stained glass windows. Very big deal for the Cathedral of Notre Dame in Paris. They have hired an artist named Claire Tabouret. Claire Tabouret is famous for something called, a piece of artwork called Little Girl Smothered in Makeup. I don't know. Artists. I don't know. So she's working with another partner, and a lot of this work is done, and it's getting panned. It's not getting good reviews. It's like it doesn't have any feel to it, like this person doesn't get it. It's about the covenant and some of these other things. It's like it's not. Turns out they hired an atheist to do this. Now, we sing things go wrong in America. We're like, how'd you hire those people? How'd you not vet them? How did you not know this? How did the Cathedral of Notre Dame hire an atheist to do the artwork? That is astounding to me, but it's happening. And now people are finding out about it, and they may be losing all that money and redoing all the stained glass over. We'll see. It's going to be up to the French. I mean, they're going to have to decide on their own whether that's what they want to do or not. But an atheist, what a nice touch. Let's bring this atheist in to do the stained glass windows here at the Cathedral of Notre Dame. Mark, that must touch a nerve with you.
I don't mind it.
Really?
I don't mind it.
Do tell.
I don't know. Art is art.
Okay. In the house of worship?
Yeah, that's true. I kind of think of it as like a tourist attraction, but it is yeah. You're right.
This is a temple, man.
That's true.
This is like the place. And that is the honor of any artist of a lifetime to be able to do that work. And you probably just shouldn't be telling people you don't believe. It's just art to you. It's just people and depictions of things in a book. And it means nothing to me. That's not I'm sorry. I don't think that's a good look at all, man. I don't think that's
true.
That's
I've reconsidered.
You've reconsidered. Okay.
I've reconsidered right now.
Maybe I didn't have your attention long enough. Sometimes I would be the same way. This is no knock on Mark or anybody that produces a show or runs a board or whatever. There are times when you just drift. You have to. The phone's ringing. Things are happening. You're looking at things for the next segment. Sometimes the commercials aren't loaded right. There's all kinds of things going on there. I'm going to give Mark a complete pass. And you will too, because that's the mood we're in on a Friday. That's what we're doing today. He's reconsidered. He's not reconsidering his parlay, which is going down in flames this week, but we're going to give him a chance to come up with a lock of the week. We'll do that and more next on KCMO.
From Lawrence to Leavenworth, it's Kevin Kietzman. Uncanceled on 95.7 FM KCMO Talk Radio.
We had breaking news last hour when Mayor Lucas was on. He let us all know, who knew, that many of our holidays this time of year and holiday traditions are religious in nature. And he respects that, although we're not going to have religious things up at City Hall. Joy Reid came out this week, the former CNN anchor, and she said that Jingle Bells is racist. Not the words, not the music, not today, but when it was first written, white people used to sing it and mock black people while they were doing it. So it's forever known as racist. Mark has viewed the artwork at the Notre Dame Cathedral, and I think he has done a complete 180. What do you got, Mark?
Looks a little too modern for my taste, but
Doesn't it look cold and impersonal?
yeah, I don't know, it's bright.
One of the windows, every person has their back turned. You can't see the people.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
I don't know. It doesn't look like it looked when I saw.
Trump needs to take a look at it. He gave a lot of money to the refurbishing of that place,
Yeah.
rebuilding it. He needs to take a look. Get this right. Not from the atheist. Did you see the news? Stan Weber, my fill-in host from time to time when I'm gone. Many of you know from being on here, our football expert. His son Stanton has been hired at Kansas State as the special teams coordinator.
I heard that. One of my friends texted me that. That's
Now I'll give you the inside story. It was the first call Colin Klein made.
Yeah.
They've been best men at each other's weddings. And Stanton has been he finished in the top 5 of coaches under 35 in America and was one of the 5 coaches up for the Special Teams Coach of the Year award last year at Toledo. So he's obviously really good at what he does. I've got a text thread with 3 other K-State buddies. Between the 4 of us, I said, Stanton Weber has more degrees at K-State than the 4 of us combined. It's true. He's got 3 different degrees from K-State. And one of my buddies, the friend I can't say his name on the radio, actually finished and got his degree from Nebraska. He came up like 8 hours short and took some classes or something at Nebraska. So we always tease him that he's a Husker guy. It's pretty funny. Congratulations, Stan and Stanton. It's great for their family because their son, who's married, has moved back basically home. They're going to get to see him a lot more. Did you see this? Trump wants to do no tax on gambling winnings.
Let's go.
There you go. No tax on gambling winnings. Now, that applies to everything. So I assume it means if you won Powerball, you don't have to pay that 38% or highest tax bracket or whatever on this thing.
That'd be fun.
What's the most you ever won, Mark?
I won about $1,000 on a Chiefs Super Bowl. I guess it's between me and my wife. We
parlay?
both won $600 each. Yeah.
Oh, okay. A bunch of different bets or one parlay?
Just one.
Okay.
We picked the Chiefs before the season to win the Super Bowl.
Oh, outstanding.
So, yeah, we both got $600 on that.
That doesn't hit the threshold, but if you go to the casino some night and hit like a jackpot for $3,000 on the machine or something, they come to you and make you fill out a tax form.
Oh, yeah.
They'll get you, but Trump wants to get rid of that, which is awesome. Now our dead stone cold locks of the week. Here we go. We're 3 games over 500 for the season. What do you got?
I was going back and forth between college and pro, but I think I got to go with the Chargers plus 5.5.
Okay. I thought you were going Army-Navy.
I was going to. I like Navy minus 6.5, but I'm going to go Chargers plus 5.5.
Well, since you're off the Army-Navy game, I'm going to go there. I thought you were going there, and I was going to take the under of 38.5, and I said, no, I'm going to take Villanova plus 13 in honor of Pete Mundo and Frank Bowl, both of whom we discussed last hour on this show. So I'm sticking with Villanova. I've made the change. They're in a playoff game, Division II, right, or what we used to call 1AA, against Tarleton State. Villanova's got to hang within 13 of Tarleton State.
They got. I like them outright. Let's go.
All right. So Chiefs can win by 4, and everybody's happy. And Villanova, those guys wouldn't be happy if they lost, but they get 13 points. Our deadlocks of the week, the Vince Show coming up next. Have a great weekend, everybody.